Hey, you guys, this is Death College, and you are tuned into the Academia Gothica minisoda series. This is, I want to say episode 16. If it's not, it's episode 17, and I'll have to re-export it. But yeah, um, it's uh, it's February 13th. It is the day before Valentine's Day, and I would like to talk with you about the male gaze. I would also like to talk to you about the predatory female gaze, which resembles the male gaze, but it is, you know, primarily less natural and even weirder to encounter because it is a type of hunger you typically see in people as a reflection of attacks that were already placed on them by other people who did not respect their boundaries previously. So that's a whole other thing that I would like to warn, our fellow men and women about. But yeah, male gaze. How about male gaze, man? I just, I don't know what constitutes as flirting anymore. It's like, are people still doing the whole polite eyebrow to show chastity and interest at the same time? The simultaneous like smooth and smarmy flirting with the gesture of the brow and what have you. Are we still doing etiquette and chivalry and reading our Emily Post chapters on courting and whatnot? Because I can tell you, for one, my experience recently, and mind you, I have experienced some male disrespect that some people have only seen in animes. Yes. Um, I just wanted to address the fact that there's some really seedy behavior that's being interpreted maybe by some people as like endearing, and it's not. So we're gonna talk about why it's not and how it's not more thoroughly. So Valentine's Day, right? It's supposed to be a day where everybody celebrates love. They celebrate affection, mutual affection, meaning that you don't have to force the person to enjoy it, right? Yeah. Um, you don't have to trick them into enjoying it either. That's a coercion, right? Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you guys understand like the modern day ghosting thing. I know I have had, situations where I've been ghosted and I was like, man, did I do something to earn that? Is there like a badge? Do I get a consolation prize? How does this work? But I'll give you some very clear indications that a girl has nothing to do with you, wants nothing to do with you, does not consider you a friend, an ally, doesn't trust you, doesn't feel safe around you, in the way that she ghosts you. Okay? Here are some fail-safe ways to tell that even a person who communicates clearly is ghosting you because you just cannot be spoken to. You won't understand it because you're psychotic, right? The first thing that's going to happen is you'll text them or communicate with them out of the blue, just like expecting them to still be there after you ghosted them, right? Because that's usually what happens. People who communicate effectively usually get ghosted first and then kind of feel almost like they're supposed to be around to respond when the ghost comes back. So what will happen next is the person will get rejected after ghosting and coming back, and their own trick will be set upon them, and they'll be like, oh, what is this sorcery? How did this happen? Why was I not immediately received? And the reason why you were not immediately received is because there is no reception for you. No one wants you here. Right? I'm just making it clear for the people who have had difficulty standing up to people like you after having to resolve feelings they never even asked to have on account of your own behavior, which was irresponsible, right? So, and this goes for the men in the crowd too, because I'm sure that's happened to you guys too. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Why is this every day, right? Yeah, okay. So we're sparing everyone's feelings here except the people who don't deserve it. So, yeah. What's next is when you go after this, long period of silence and this confusion that, maybe you could have sat with and said, hey, do I do this? No, no, no. Rather than going into your own self, your own catalog of your own behavior in your own mind, and asking with some introspective curiosity, is there something I did that could have created this issue? You decided to then take it a step further, I'm sure on someone else's poor advisory, to then further reach out to the person. Like, how could they not want to talk with me? How could they not want to associate with me? Well, it's because you're not someone to be associated with. And so following them on their social media after they've stopped responding to you, didn't receive any of your text messages in any visible way that would have indicated that they did, or showed any interest for about a month after the fact, is probably not a good idea. It's probably not the move to make. And I'll tell you why. Usually, people are busy enough not to be stalking a person's every move to report it back, either to your own self-gratification sensors in your brain or anyone else who would be interested in stalking them, especially knowing that this person confided to you about their discomfort with the fact that they felt like they were being stalked in a previous interaction that you clearly blatantly ignored. So, when you take it upon yourself to create the discomfort that the person confided to you they were running from, I just feel like you need a sitting down and talking to that maybe a better figure in your life could have provided to you, like a father or a guardian who cared for you. And since you clearly did not heed any advice that was already provided to you, or, perhaps was not provided to you because you did not have it in your life, I am going to tell you, no, you are not meant to cling to the person who ghosted you. If you have abandonment issues, you're not supposed to take it out on the person that you expect to do as you say, as a narcissistic, clinging partner. And if you have issues with letting people go because you have financial incentives tied to the people and don't want to explain it to them, then maybe you should just turn yourself into the police, because I'm sure that if you're stalking the person in the first place and refuse to stay ghosted for the right reasons, then you already have some people looking at you. And if you don't, you will soon. Because just a reminder, guys, as much as we're looking for love on February 14th and February 13th, whatever day it is, leading up to these grand dates and these exclusive events and, these lovey-dovey things that happen here, the stalking rate of it ending in a violent act, if not a murder, is still about 92%. And it's getting worse. We don't even know how much of this is actually being reported. So if someone is trying to normalize their egregious presence in your life by following you on social media and pretending to financially support you so that they can steal your information and misuse it, or just be an obtuse kind of object in your life where you already made it clear that you don't care about anything that they're doing, as long as, they're far the hell away from you, then, there are things there to be definitely considered for what it is that they are. And you should definitely act on them. And as long as you guys who feel like you're being clung to have the sense of advantage here, that that you have the advantage, that you ghosted for the right reasons and, you felt mistreated and acted upon it, then that's the way it needs to be. Because, I'm going to say something, narcissistic abuse is something that Valentine's Day makes very, very easy. The gifts, the chocolate, the flowers, the promises. These things exist in non-material ways first between people who are meant to be together. And that's just how it is. And any type of challenge to that appears bought first and then, compensated for later with effort that never really shows up. I mean, good riddance to you. This has been Death College. I hope you guys have a safe Valentine's Day. If anyone is clinging to you and making you feel really uncomfortable, make sure that you have a support circle around you that would proactively work with you, and if you felt uncomfortable, would like immediately go with you away from the location and bring you to safety, not into, another place where you could party and get a little intoxicated. I mean, just keep your guard up. I personally don't partake in any of those celebratory things, drinking and what have you, but I know that some people do. And if you're going to do that, just do it with your wits about you. Do it with your wits about you. Try to prevent as much of the problems that could arise there as possible. And just hydrate. That's most of the issues that are connected to that. Just hydrate. Have your citrus and your milk before you do any of the crazy stuff. Not in that order, and obviously not together either. But while I don't condone that behavior, just be responsible. Yeah. Be safe, guys. Love you. If you need any kind of support while you're intoxicated, definitely bring somebody with you, around you, or have numbers prepared that you can dial easily in the case that you need to call for help. And if somebody's bothering you or stalking you, following you down a street, making you feel like your body is going to be harmed in any way, shape, or form, or creating that anxiety for you, don't hesitate to call the police and give them a description of who's bothering you, because with what's going on with this human trafficking thing, the more information that they have, the better it is, because they will literally just check things off as they're on patrol. And another thing that I wanted to mention, because this is a really super touchy subject, some of these people that you rely on to pick you up out of these potentially troubling situations, if they're older than you, if they're, making themselves just always readily available to you, as if they're the person you're supposed to go to, but they're not really your parent. They're not really like, a guardian that you can verify would have your best interest at heart. If, they knew that you were drinking, when you weren't supposed to be drinking, or they knew that you were on some sort of substance when you weren't supposed to be, and they can't have the jurisdiction that your parents necessarily could. You have to watch out for this too, because while you trust them and while you feel like you would get into trouble with your parents, regardless of what age you are, some parents are like this until you're 45 years old, it doesn't matter. Not to say that that's how it's supposed to be. It's not. But, I understand the trust issues that could influence this type of trust in others, but I really need you to be careful with these people, because these are the exact type of predators who would use that information that you trusted them with to extort you if they had the opportunity to, and they were so crooked to do so. So I want you guys to realize, like, Valentine's Day and this entire season is meant to be a moment in our lives of reflection and gratitude for our ability to love and be loved. And there are a lot of evil attacks on people's abilities to just love and be loved. And I want you to just, hold with you, if you could, your heart, hold your heart with you, and just recognize that you as a person are more than just the value that someone else decides upon you and who you are and what you're worth to them. You have a value that you have yet to discover about yourself, about your goals in life. And it could happen. It could be that you already know. It could be that you're discovering it as you go. It doesn't matter how old you are. You could be in your 50s. You could be a 90-year-old woman listening to my podcast. Life starts when you decide to see your own value. And it's important that everyone understands that they are important, that everything that they do is important, that the decisions that they make to love and be loved can be very crucial to their happiness. And I want you all to recognize that while there are predators, there are also people here who are doing their best to look out for you by giving you the ability to decide. And, I hope that I am seen as one of those people for you as well, even if I'm just a voice in a podcast wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. So stay tuned for more content. Also, if you are subscribed to the mailing list, you got probably a huge surprise. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in. This is Death College with the Academia Gothica minisoda for Valentine's Day. Thanks so much. Hope you guys enjoy all of your festivities, all of what you're trying to accomplish here, and just, be safe. Be safe and responsible and have a good time. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye.